everyone, it's Karen Redman, the Mayor of the town of Gawler, and our weekly video this week is all about the environment and all about what Council is doing to improve our performance as it relates to getting towards net zero carbon emissions. You're going to hear that a lot over the next few years with a new US president who's passionate about the environment and dealing with the climate crisis, which is a world crisis, and we're all involved in that. Nobody is immune to not being involved in how we can contribute, both large and small. So it's my pleasure here today to welcome our Environment Officer Tim Kelly. Tim is exceptionally credentialed in the world of the environment and renewables, etc. So really excited to have Tim on board, and an old favourite, Jack Darzanos, who's Tim's boss. So Jack's also the team leader of environmental services, amongst other things, and Jack's here to talk with us today about what we're doing in this space. So firstly to you, Mr. Kelly, welcome.
Thank you, Karen.
So Council's just resolved to spend a bit of money on changing over our streetlights. Can you tell us a little bit about what are people going to expect, and why is it good for our community to do that?
This is a fantastic initiative, and it's one of the things that's been considered by and recommended by the Climate Emergency Action Plan Working Group that is preparing the Climate Emergency Action Plan for Council. But it's also involved teams across Council looking at the opportunities using new technology to improve our public lighting and reduce costs, reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So we've done the numbers, and we've been working with SA Power Networks to look at options for how we undertake this, and there's now a clear path forward where we can change our public lighting, upgrade 2,700 of our public lights to LED technology, and in doing so we will reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and energy use by 60% in our public lighting.
Is that long-term 60%, or is that every year?
That's every year.
Every year.
For the public lights, we'll reduce our emissions and energy use by 60%.
Wow.
Now, public lighting itself represents half of the council's electricity use. So it's a big part of it, and electricity use represents half of council's emissions. So it is a really important area to tackle, and that's one of the things that the Climate Emergency Action Plan Working Group has been advising, is to tackle those areas where you get the biggest bang for buck first. So this is a great initiative for that.
Well, I completely agree. I think people will be listening to this and going, it's about time. And also I'm really pleased to hear, because I'm a ratepayer here in Gawler, as most people who will be watching are ratepayers, and I always think, well, are we going to save money? And you just clearly said we're going to have a 60% saving every year, plus it's good for the environment. I mean, it's so many ticks to that, but you do have to invest to get that money back, and so Council is committing to that. We're also looking at applying for grants. There's some money that can be received, so we're very aggressive in our grant applications, and that's a good place to be, but we will need to contribute as well. So watch this space. So Tim, also you talked about the Climate Emergency Action Plan Working Group. It's a bit of a mouthful. They've been toiling away quite studiously, and the elected members next week will have a first look at this action plan, which basically is a bit of a blueprint of how we manage our environment and how we bring down our emissions. And Tim's alluded to, you know, just the volume of burden of fossil fuels that we have in our street lights, and how we can actually reduce our emissions just through being more efficient with our street lighting through LEDs. That's just one example. So we'll be getting lots of examples and lots of opportunities through that. Does need to fit into our long-term financial plan. So Jack, from a team leader, and you would be very excited by the work that Tim's doing and your team's doing. So what does it look like from an organisational point of view? What sort of other things have staff been looking at to make that feed into this Climate Emergency Action Plan, but also more efficiency for your organisation?
Absolutely. Mayor Redman. We're looking at a whole host of initiatives, solar initiatives on council buildings to reduce, again, energy consumption within our own operational requirements. We're looking at EVs. We're looking at
so that's electric vehicles. Technophobes.
Yes. We're looking at not just operations but community support as well.
Yeah.
It's a very highly community-focused working group and a plan.
Okay.
We're also looking at renewable transition and looking at what can council do in accessing renewable energy in the long term. So it's an exciting time for Gawler. It's innovation at the leading edge. And again, as the Mayor has alluded, it's watch this space. We're looking forward to our working group meeting with the elected members next week, which will drive the plan and the initiatives and the actions and the outcomes as a result.
Yeah.
And it truly is a real team effort, I think, to progress this. So.
Well, I'm really excited about the electric vehicles because I just think, there's no smell, there's minimal sound. You think about how to protect our buildings in Gawler, the electrified train that's coming, eventually. Took a bus yesterday, it took me 2 hours to get home. Don't even get me started about that. It'll be fantastic. So you don't smell in that diesel, which is really bad for your health.
Yes.
And it's really bad for our buildings, our heritage buildings. And we're standing in front of this incredibly beautiful heritage item, which is part of old Gawler. Many people who are interested in history will recognise this. This is part of our past, but it's also part of our future. It's a street lamp that would have originally been gas, but now it'll be LED eventually. And I just think that's so exciting. So the old blends with the new, and I think we're just so progressive in this space. And it's not about getting all panicking and, yes, we've declared a climate emergency, but we're actually working through this methodically with evidence from the best scientists in the world, and we've also got some really wonderful staff that are assisting us so that all of us in our community can actually benefit. And you never know, you might have some ideas around how you can reduce your carbon emissions and how you can contribute to the effort that I guess it's a movement, isn't it?
It is.
It's a worldwide movement. We're part of that. Everyone's a part of this. So I think we might. Is there anything else you want to add, Carlos?
Just one thing I thought about mentioning, that on our Climate Emergency Action Plan Working Group, we have members from the Youth Advisory Council.
We do.
Gawler's Youth Advisory Council.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, it was the young people that really led the push in 2018 through the climate strikes and through pushing governments to say that the emerging and future generations want change. They don't want to face a world where they can't live safely.
Yes.
So by having that youth voice on our working group, it's actually influencing the way the plan is being developed. Yeah. And when you think about it, we really have a responsibility to our emerging and future generations, and
absolutely.
We're responding to that.
I completely agree with you, and thank you for bringing that up, because our youth are our future, and we've got a really strong Youth Advisory Committee. They're bringing up motions to council, they're thinking about how to effectively use their voice, they're on our working groups such as the Climate Emergency Action Plan. We're in the streets, so just think about that noise that you just heard, and that won't be there when you have electrified vehicles. I can't wait. We just accept this noise, and some people love the noise of cars. I personally can't stand it, but I'm sure we'll get comments about that, but gee, can't wait for clean and green. But our youth are demanding this worldwide. They're demanding this. We've got to stand up and listen as community leaders, as leaders in local government. We have to listen. We are here to listen. We are here to make sense of that and put it into practice. And the voice is loud and clear, isn't it, Tim?
It is.
And Jack, so I'm really excited about what we're doing here in council. I hope you are too. Have a great day, everyone.